Check. Does this thing work? Getting high tech here in the kitchen. If I'm looking here, I should look there, right? Spent $13 on this mic. Let's see if it works, if it's any good. 30 days for Paganini? I don't know. No, that's not going to happen. How about 10 days? 10 days for Paganini, and I'll skip a couple. 10 out of. Let's make these realistic goals. 10 out of 20. 10 out of 20 days every other day, or I crunch 10 together, something like that. Paganini. Niccolo Paganini Caprice number 1, right from the early 19th century for the violin. But I'm going to do it on the xylophone, and I'll bring the xylophone in the kitchen at some point. Probably 10 out of 20 days. Today it was in the living room practicing with a metronome. I'm listening to all these recordings. Let me just give you a brief sampling what we're talking about here. The recording that I grew up with as a child. Is that this? What is this? Oh yeah, there it is. My parents used to put me to sleep with this. Can I play more than 8? I can't. That was 8 seconds of Itzhak Perlman. Turns out YouTube probably doesn't care about classical music, so we're okay. You played like 3 seconds of Demi Lovato. Oh! Delete! We'll see. So that was fast. Actually, if we listen to that again. Somehow it doesn't even. It's unreal, but it doesn't sound like the score. Here's Andrew Koss hit me to this guy, Nikita Zimin, saxophone virtuoso here. Everybody takes all the time in the world when they go to the high note, and anyway, that's fine. And then Elliot Fisk, who I'll tell you the brief story. There we go. A fun thing to do is get the music and follow along, and you're like, whoa, that's not what they're playing. Elliot Fisk, I used to think I didn't look like anybody when I was a kid, and I found Elliot Fisk, and I said I look kind of like him, and then people said I looked kind of like Andy Dick. It turns out Elliot Fisk and Andy Dick look exactly, oh, there goes the phone, look exactly the same, but I don't necessarily look like either of them. And one day I was working at Barnes & Noble, and Elliot Fisk came in and bought a book, and I said, "You're Andy Dick," and he said, "No, I'm not." And I said, "Well, then you're Elliot Fisk, my favorite classical guitarist." And he said, "I am." And he had the most extravagant signature because he used a credit card. And I didn't keep that receipt. I didn't last very long at that job. 2-3 months. It felt like an eternity. Got in trouble with Caroline Kennedy there. That's another story for another time. But so 10 out of 20. What is this thing? Paganini Caprice. Let's see what happens in 20 days. Okay, bye-bye.